Today, I will be talking about how to divide partnership income in different ways. Let's say that Jimmy Dawson and Ray Willow formed a partnership, investing $276,000 and $92,000 respectively. Your job is to determine their participation in the year's net income of $380,000 under each of the following independent assumptions. Assumption A: no agreement concerning division of net income. Assumption B: divided in the ratio of original capital investment. Assumption C: interest at the rate of 5% allowed on original investments and the remainder divided in the ratio of 2-3. Assumption D: salary allowances of $47,000 and $59,000 respectively, and the balance divided equally. Assumption E: allowance of interest at the rate of 5% on the original investments, salary allowances of $47,000 and $59,000 respectively, and the remainder divided equally. So, let's get into each assumption. For A, all we have to do is divide $380,000 by 2 since the income is split equally when there is no agreement about the division. $380,000 divided by 2 comes out to $190,000 for the income of Dawson and Willow. For B, we must first find the ratio of the original capital investment. To do that, first add $276,000 and $96,000 together, which comes out to $368,000 for the total original capital investment. Then we must divide each investment by the total. So, $276,000 divided by $368,000 comes out to 0.75. $92,000 divided by $368,000 comes out to 0.25. This shows that the original ratio was 3-1. Now, applying this to the net income for the year, we can do 0.75 times $380,000, which comes out to $285,000 as Dawson's participation in this year's net income. For Willow, we can do 0.25 times $380,000, which comes out to $95,000 for Willow's participation in this year's net income. Next, for C, we must first find the interest on the original investments. As we know, there's an interest rate of 5% allowed on the original investments, so we can do $276,000 times 0.05, which comes out to an interest of $13,800 for Dawson's original capital investment. For Willow, we can do $92,000 times 0.05, which comes out to $4,600 for the interest for Willow's original capital investment. Now we add that interest up and subtract it from the net income. So, $13,800 plus $4,600 comes out to total interest of $18,400. Now that we have the total interest, we can subtract it from this year's net income. $380,000 minus $18,400 comes out to $361,600 for the net income without interest. Now we must divide this amount in the ratio of 2-3. This ratio means that there are a total of 5 parts. This means that one partner gets 40%, indicated by the 2, and one partner gets 60%, indicated by the 3. For Dawson, $361,600 times 40% comes out to $144,640. For Willow, $361,600 times 60% comes out to $216,960. Now, for each partner, we must divide the interest on their original capital investments back into each of their divided net income for the year. For Dawson, that'll be $144,644 plus $13,800, which comes out to $158,440 for Dawson's participation in this year's net income. For Willow, this will be $216,960 plus $4,600, which comes out to $221,560 for Willow's participation in this year's net income. For D, we must subtract the total salary allowances from the net income. $47,000 plus $59,000 comes out to $106,000 for the total salary allowance. $380,000 minus $106,000 comes out to $274,000 for the net income without allowances. Now we must divide the two parts equally. $274,000 divided by 2 comes out to $137,000, which is the base net income each partner gets this year. Now that we have the base net income for each partner, we must add the allowances back in. For Dawson, $137,000 plus $47,000 equals $184,000. For Willow, $137,000 plus $59,000 comes out to $196,000 for their participation in this year's net income. Now for E, we're putting everything together. First, we must take out the interest on the original investments. Luckily, we already know the total interest because we did it earlier. So, $380,000 minus $18,400 of total interest comes out to $361,600. Next, we must take out the salary allowances. $361,600 minus $106,000 comes out to $255,600. $255,600 divided by 2 equals $127,800. Now that we have the base income, we have to add everything back together for each partner. For Dawson, that'll be $127,800 plus $47,000 plus $13,800 of interest, which comes out to $188,600 for Dawson's participation in this year's net income. For Willow, it'll be $127,800 plus $59,000 plus $4,600 of interest, which comes out to $191,400 for Willow's participation in this year's net income. And there you go. You now know how to divide partnership income in different ways. If you want, go back to the start of the video and try the problems out for yourself. You could even switch up the numbers if you want. But remember, when you come across this problem, it might be overwhelming at first, but all you have to do is slow down and take each part one at a time and you'll get it no problem. Thank you all for watching and have a wonderful day.